Today we're going to look at Magic the Gathering cards that Wizards of the Coast dares you to build around. I'm going to start off with Biovisionary. A blue-green 1 generic 2/3 creature. It's a human wizard. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 4 or more creatures named Biovisionary, you win the game. It will be all over. It's toast. And my smooth brain was always thinking, how on earth are you going to get all 4 copies of your Biovisionary onto the battlefield? But of course, you Commander players are actually way more clever than I am. You can just copy the damn Biovisionary. And also, in Commander, that's the only thing you can do to get 4 or more Biovisionaries on the battlefield. And you know what? They even gave me a clue. They said 4 or more. You know, so in theory, there could be 5, 6, 7, or 8. So yeah. Get them, and then at the beginning of your end step, you got all those Biovisionaries. The game is a goner. Okay, I'm gonna have another one. It's one of the most useless cards in the game, and Commander players, I dare you to even try to make this work, even in theory, because I don't even think it's possible. Hedron Alignment, a blue 2 generic enchantment with hexproof, and also has a blue 1 generic scry 1, so it's actually not completely unplayable. If you need a scrying machine, you can scry through your entire deck with infinite mana. But at the beginning of your upkeep, you may reveal your hand. If you do, you win the game. If you own a card named Hedron Alignment in exile, in your hand, in your graveyard, and on the battlefield. I don't even know how you can make that work. I mean, you can make like maybe 1 copy to have on the battlefield, put 1 into the graveyard. I have no idea how you're going to get the other 2 in the other zones, at least in Commander. I guess the best thing you could do is like rule 0 your friends. Hey guys, can I play with more than 1x of a card? That sounds like a very strange rule 0, and let's say they said yes to it. Pulls out Hedron Alignment deck. Laughs in Hedron Alignment. Alright. But they don't have to necessarily win the game. Let's take a look at your guys' suggestions. Tie free with Shadowborn Apostle. The Shadowborn, a pay a black, 1/1 human cleric. A deck can have any number of cards named Shadowborn Apostle. It's one way to break the singleton rule in Commander. Pay a black, sacrifice 6 creatures named Shadowborn Apostle. Search your library for a demon card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. That demon could be anything. What would you even get at this point? You can't get Grizzlebrand. I swear that was probably the card that they meant you to get, but now that... Well, I mean, the card's banned. Banned in Commander and Oathbreaker. You know, too very, so sorry, so bad, so sad. Yeah, for the comment section, what on earth do you put onto the battlefield? We got Robert with the super chat. I've had a lot of success with Goblin Gathering in an Unseal the Necropolis deck. Goblin Gathering. So you've actually been able to achievement unlock this thing. Goblin Gathering, red 2 generic sorcery, create a number of 1/1 red goblin creature tokens equal to 2+ the number of cards named Goblin Gathering in your graveyard. And you are doing that with an Unseal the Necropolis. Unseal the Necropolis. I'm assuming this is not Commander, but maybe. So, Unseal says, each player mills 3 cards, then you return up to 2 creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. So you can keep bringing, so you keep bringing this guy back, but you still need quite a few copies in the graveyard, right? 2+ the number of cards named Goblin Gathering in your graveyard. I'm assuming this is just like super casual pony, casual magic. Coulter Chase, thank you very much for the super chat. Aboria, too tempting to build around. I don't even know what this is. What's Arboria? I think it's Arboria. Green 2 generic. It's a world enchantment. Creatures can't attack a player who didn't cast a spell and didn't put a card onto the battlefield during his or her last turn. So basically, everyone is forced to... Creatures can't attack a player who didn't cast a spell and didn't put... So you can only attack people who are playing things. And then if you opt to not to, so basically you want to build a deck where you're not doing anything, but somehow you're actually adding to the board. Interesting card. So you're basically invulnerable if you can find a way out. Like, I guess Dredge would work. who didn't put a card onto the battlefield. Does that count? Like, if I somehow get a Narcomoeba, I don't know. But that's why you build around the card. Magus says, Arborea in a deck that doesn't play cards during your turn counterspells flash and creatures. Oh, that's right. Really neat card. All right, so blue-green and Simic. Hey, that's a combo in itself. A combo as old as time. Jacob, that's the new one, Bilbo. Bilbo birthday. Celebrant tap ability. Yeah, okay. So for the Abzan cards, 2/3 creature. If you gain a life, you gain that much life plus 1 instead. And then for 5 mana, you tap, exile Bilbo birthday celebrant. Search your library for any number of creature cards, put them onto the battlefield, and shuffle. But you can only activate if you have 111 more life. Happy birthday, Bilbo. Wait, how many creatures you put? Any number. Just put your whole deck onto the battlefield. Be careful about them sweepers, though. Or, I mean, if they one sweeper, you're basically dead. You just basically blew your load all over the battlefield. It's a one shot, and it's over. Love the flavor. Abzo with Battle of Wits. This is like the ultimate build-around card. Not many people can build around it. This has seen Pro Tour play, and by Pro Tour play, I mean someone basically was trolling the Pro Tour a few times. Blue 3 generic at the beginning. It's an enchantment at the beginning of your upkeep. If you have 200 or more cards in your library, you win the game. It's over. One of the original achievement unlocked types of Magic the Gathering cards. Zanzi, Bronze Bombshell. That card was so fun to build around. All right, 4 mana for a 4/1 construct. When a player other than Bronze Bombshell's owner controls it, that player sacrifices it. If the player does, Bronze Bombshell deals 7 damage to him or hers. How does this work? When a player other than Bronze Bombshell owner controls it, that player... What? How does this card work? When a player other than Bronze Bombshell's owner controls it. When a player other... Okay, so basically, I own it, but I don't control it. That person has to sacrifice it. If the player does, it deals 7 damage to them. So you have to donate it, and what, it just spontaneously combusts or something? That doesn't make any sense. But I understand. Oh, Shiny, let's pull off the chain and take her with us. Oh, I see. So you pull off the chain and then kablooey. It's like it's a walking grenade. It's a walking grenade. Be careful. The grenade is dangerous. You pull that thing off and then all of a sudden you're doomed. Oh, happy birthday to Mr. DJ Longhair. Hope all is well. Good, and happy birthday to everyone else at the on your channel. Yeah, explosive gift. Demigod of Revenge. I got by this card just recently. Demigod of Revenge. Oh, was it in Modern or Legacy? I think it was Legacy. Somebody intuitioned for this thing, putting 2 copies of Demigod of Revenge into the graveyard. So what it is, it's flying haste. When you cast Demigod of Revenge, return all cards named Demigod of Revenge from your graveyard to the battlefield. It's a 5/4 creature, so effectively, if you can cast 1, you're going to deal your opponent 15 damage. Straight to the face. It's dangerous. And 5 mana is not impossible. And because it has haste, I mean, you're going to waste no time putting your opponent's life total to 0. I think that's how the game went. It's like intuition, get 3 copies of Demigod Revenge, 1 of them goes into their hand, the rest got dumped into the graveyard, they attacked, and they killed me. We got Abe with the super chat. Spawnshire of Ulamog. Is that the one that makes the babies? Spawnsire. The card begs anyone that reads it to build a deck to activate that ability. Yeah, 20. It's so tempting. Like just the ring that tempts you. 10 mana for a 7/11 with Annihilator 1. We'll ignore the first ability. You put babies onto the I guess you put eggs on the battlefield. Pay 20. Cast any number of Eldrazi cards you own from outside the game without paying their mana costs. If you can pay the 20. And then you just get like, okay, you're of course going to get the Emrakul, get an extra turn. You get Ulamog, you get Kozilek. You can get several Kozileks at this point. So you can get several Kozileks, several Ulamogs. You have 2 Emrakuls on the battlefield at the same time. What an absolute flavor fail. But that's what you can do. This card is actually getting better with time as they keep making more Ulamogs. And I guess they can't make any more Ulamogs unless we go back in time. I believe Ulamog and Kozilek are done for. They died somehow. Alright, what do we got next? Mega Banani with a Monument to Perfection. We got a 2-mana artifact. Pay 3, tap, search your library for a basic sphere or a locust land card. It's like, look for a shape. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Pay 3 mana. Monument to Perfection becomes a 9/9 Phyrexian Construct artifact creature. Loses all abilities and gains Indestructible and Toxic 9? Wait, what is the point? Activate only if there are 9 or more lands with different names among the basic sphere and locust lands you control. They're bringing locusts back. Why would they do this? This is a new card. Oh god. Locusts. Those are broken lands. Gaining a bunch of life and a bunch of mana. And they're banned. Well, one of them's banned in Modern. That's wild. Maybe this is what AI card meant with you may play a shape. Yeah, exactly. You get a basic, a sphere. Just recognize sometimes we go get squares or something. Of all the weird cards. There are sphere lands? I'm familiar with the basic and the locust. I'm not familiar with the sphere. Or are they prophesizing something that's coming out in the future? Yeah, no locusts in this new Phyrexia arc. But maybe they're foretelling something that's going to happen way later. Stage and Disaster. Arcane Bombardment. What do we got here? We got a red for generic enchantment. When you cast your first instant or sorcery spell each turn, exile an instant or sorcery card at random from your graveyard. Then copy each card exiled with Arcane Bombardment. You may cast any number of copies without paying their mana cost. What? Then copy each card exiled with Arcane Bombardment. So the more you play Arcane Bombardment... So whenever you cast your first spell... Oh, so you cast this first spell, it gets... You exile something from your graveyard, and then as you cast more spells, you keep getting more spells out of this thing. 6-mana enchantment, you're going to kill your opponent with all them, I don't know, instants and sorceries. Dizzy Blizzy. Baron Glory. Oh yes, a classic build-around card. But works. You got it only once. See, that's a sad thing about these build-around cards. Your opponents sort of see it coming, and they try to prevent, you know, they'll be like, okay, we gotta kill this person. Gotta get him out of the game. They're trying to win in one shot. The 6-mana enchantment, at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control no permanents other than Baron Glory, and you have no cards in hand, you win the game. It's basically a flawless victory on yourself. The inverted flawless victory. Yeah, it's originally printed as the Cheese Stands Alone. They're like, this Cheese Stands Alone card is pretty good. It's turned into a real card. Jacob with Harness Infinity. What the hell? Okay, green, black, 1 generic. It's an instant. Not many cards this expensive are instants. Exchange your hand and graveyard? Is this real? Oh, it's just... I thought you meant like with someone else. Exile Harness of Infinity. That is... Feels like... You know what? I don't feel like this is in the spirit of the show. I mean, this is just card advantage, right? This is just late game. Well, I'm just going to swap my hand, which is nothing, with my graveyard that has everything. Yeah, basically any Golgari deck can play this thing. It's just massive card advantage. Chen Fred says Blood Funeral. No card exists. Blood... Oh, sorry, it's Blood Funnel. That makes a whole lot less sense, but apparently that's the real card. Black, 1 generic enchantment. Non-creature spells you play cost 2 less to play. Whenever you play a non-creature spell, counter that spell unless you sacrifice a creature. What is the advantage to this? You can play... Oh, okay, your instants and sorceries are cheaper, but you have to sack the creatures to get the benefits. Oh, that's the blood funnel. It could have been called blood funeral, as far as I'm concerned. What do you try? So just out of curiosity, what are you trying to cast with this thing that would be such a great payoff? How do you play blood funnel? I don't know. What is the payoff to this card? I mean, but hey, that's the point. You're trying to build around this card. The Wizards is daring you. Hey, you want to break this thing? Go for it. By all means. You basically, like, I guess what it is like at least one creature that you sack is worth like 2 mana. It's effectively what they're doing here. Allurin? Allurin is just lets you play stuff for free as far as I'm concerned. Okay, let's move on to another super chat. We got King Ginger here. Rashmi Eternity's Crafter. The Crafter. Okay, we got blue-green, 2 generic, 2/3 Elf Druid. Whenever you cast your first spell each turn, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a non-land card, with converted mana cost less than that spell's, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. If you don't, cast the revealed card, put it into your hand. So wait, you need like to be a scrying machine. You need to scry like the little dinky spells on top, so that as you cast spells, you get like free stuff. So you have to build your deck around like a lot. You need a lot of brainstorm. You need a lot of ponder. I guess you might need like more creatures enter the battlefield. Scry X. Just be able to predict what's on top of your library and cast that stuff for free. That's a lot of work. This is more work than I want for my own cards. It doesn't even necessarily win the game on the spot. It's just a lot of card advantage. No. Esley says Zedru. Blue, white, red, 1 generic. You got this goat. What's the difference between a goat and a minotaur? I don't even think this guy looks like a minotaur to me. I see a goat monk. It's a 2/4. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of permanents you own that your opponents control. So you got a gift. That is so weird. If you want to draw more cards, you have to gift stuff to your opponent, but the stuff that you draw is probably only stuff that you give to your opponent. So you're just perpetually drawing cards for nothing. And you have blue, white, red. Oh, so target opponent gains control. It's a perpetual donator. So actually you can just draw whatever you want. Give them a land. Give them tokens or something. Don't minotaurs have cow heads? Yeah, I know. This is a goat. I think Mark Zug got, or maybe they made like a last minute change on the legendary creature type. Minotaur is a cow. This would be a Minnow Capra. Capra from Latin for goat. Yeah, I think it's goat. We're all unanimous in agreeing this is a goat monk instead of a minotaur monk. And it donates things. I only know goats eat grass. Alright, we got Fang here with the super chat. Strixhaven Stadium. What's going on in that stadium? We got a 3 mana artifact. Wow, they crammed this thing with words. Tap, add colorless, put a point counter on Strixhaven Stadium. Yeah, that's 1 point. We got something for that? 1 point. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, remove a point counter from Strixhaven Stadium. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to an opponent, put a point counter on Strixhaven Stadium. Then if there are 10 or more point counters on it, remove all of them, and that player loses the game. Oh my god. She shoots, she scores! This is basically it. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to an opponent. So it's just, I think it just triggers once. Does it trigger for each creature that deals damage? Because what it looks like is that you deal, like, I guess you attack with 10 creatures, then they die. They could easily die. Do you have to keep track for which person you attack? Or is it like, can I score 9 points on one player, 1 point on like the last player, and they just stone lose? That's the way I'm looking at it. Abzo says Nikya. Who the hell is Nikya? Of the old ways? Oops. Nikya of the old ways. Alright, we got 5 mana, 5/5 Centaur Druid. You can't cast non-creature spells. Well, that sucks. Whenever you tap a land for mana, add 1 mana of any type that land produces. Alright, so you don't want to play with So basically, you're just going to be mono creatures in this deck, right? You can't cast non-creature spells. No artifacts, planeswalkers, instant sorceries. Basically, your creatures are spells. I guess you can still play with stuff like Bone Crusher Giant? No, you can't. I mean, you can play the card in your deck, but it's pointless. Anyway, yeah. If you like going mono creatures, I guess Nick, yeah, the old ways. I mean, hey, it's the winning Magic the old-fashioned way, which in theory should have been creatures, but actually was through combo. So anyway, moving on. We got Nathan here with the super chat. If cards get stuck in an infinite trigger loop, is the game a draw? Yes, yes it is. If a loop cannot be stopped, the game is a draw. Which means, do I have a good sound effect for this? Yeah, sure. That's the closest I have. It's a good way of not losing, I guess, and quickly starting a new one. So don't make those loops. But it has to be a forced loop. It can't be a loop like, because in the rules of the game, you know, where's that super chat again? Technically, like, some people can choose to keep looping for over and over again, but by the rules of the game, you have to stop at some point. You have to progress the board state. So it has to be a forced loop, like that someone cannot stop, even if they wanted to at will. Victor with Chance Encounter. For a red 2 generic enchantment, whenever you win a coin flip, put a luck counter on Chance Encounter. We need all the luck we could get. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Chance Encounter has 10 or more luck counters on it, you win the game! Hooray! Get them luck counters. Get the Krark's Thumb. Yeah, you have to build it. I don't even know what this deck looks like. It's just a deck full of flipping coin cards, which has got to be infuriating for everyone else. Oh no, the flipping coin deck. He's gonna flip a bunch of coins, try to win the game. Anyway. Like, I just can't imagine the amount of jank that is in this deck. Not to mention, like, you have to tutor for this thing as well. Or I don't know, maybe the rest of the deck is a little bit more cohesive. We've got a super chat. We got John. Karvek's Spite. This is a black instant. Sacrifice all your permanents. Discard your hand. Target player loses 5 life. What did it cost? Did you do it? Did they lose 5 life? Yes. What did it cost? It cost everything. Literally. Okay, so I guess you have to be playing some deck that lets you bring the stuff back at end of turn. There's probably some type of card, if anything was sacrificed at end of turn, put it all back onto the battlefield, and you want to discard your hand because you probably utilize all the cards in the graveyard. What a bizarre card, though. Smokestack did nothing wrong. Karvek's Spite for the win in Legacy. How does this work? Can you, So hold on, let me look at the Oracle tech. Can you do this multiple times on the stack? As an additional cost to cast this spell, sack all permanents you control. No, okay, so I can't sack all permanents more than once. Or maybe I can. Discard your hand. No, sorry, I was looking at this like it was enchantment. It's an instant. You only do this once. This is a lot you have to lose to get very, very little. I guess it's fine if it's like a burn spell. You know, if you're playing mono black aggro, your opponent's down to 5, whatever. You sack everything. To hell with it. We're going... the rest of the deck, you build your deck like a burn deck. Mazes End from a meal. How many people have Mazes End decks out there? Who's represent? They made more gates, didn't they? Can't remember. Did they make more gates? Because Mazes End enters the battlefield, tap. Tap, add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool, but you can pay 3, tap, return Mazes End to its owner's hand, search your library for a gate card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. If you control 10 or more gates with different names, you win the game. You win the game. And I think they have more gates than ever before, if I remember correctly. I think. If I remember, this card, like, spiked a little bit because of... I was like, oh, the gates are coming back. The gates are coming back. And it ramps you out. So actually, it's not that bad for that reason. Okay, super chats. We got Station Disaster. Chalice of Life. Chalice of Death. Chalice of Life / Death. He's saying there's 2 sides to this card. 3 mana, tap. Gain 1 life. If you have at least 10 life more than your starting life total, transform this thing. Chalice of Death. Target player loses 5 life. You thought I was the life gain deck. Well, now I am the Deathbringer deck. Your deck, however, needs enough life gain in order to flip this thing over. I mean, is the payoff there? I don't know if this is exactly what life gain decks want to do. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to build your deck around this card, but all right, some people just want to dome people for 5 damage, I guess. What do we have? Space Bellerin. Do you really build your deck around this thing? Space Bellerin. What? Blue, white, 2 generic. Space Sculptor. Divide the battlefield into alpha, beta, and gamma. So creatures only can attack there. +1 creatures in each sector can be blocked this turn only by creatures in the same sector. -1, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature in the sector of your choice. Destroy all creatures in the sector of your choice. I don't think this is really a build around card, to be honest. Not really. Sorry about that, Chris. You have a lot of great ideas. That wasn't a good one. Here, redeem yourself. Darksteel Reactor. Can you redeem yourself, Chris? 4 mana. It's indestructible. To begin your upkeep, you may put a charge counter on Darksteel Reactor. If it has 20 or more charge counters on it, you win the game. There we go. There's a lot of charge counter cards in this game. What is it called? I don't remember. There's a deck called Dice Factory. They manipulate the charge counters on cards. They swap them around. There's this one little dinky creature. You can sacrifice it to put charge counters on stuff. That would work great with this card. Next super chat, we got Dizzy Blizzy. Thanks so much for the super chat. That's how I Baron Glory won. Oh. This is for John. Dizzy Blizzy specifically super chatted to reach out to John. King Ginger. 2 Ishin, 2 heavens as 1. This is black, white, red, a 3/4 human samurai. If a creature attacking causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Get your triggers out, people. Attack triggers specifically. So if you like stuff triggering upon attack, you get your 2 heavens as 1 card. And it'll double it for you. It reminds me of, wow, I'm so bad with card names. D. It starts with a D. Or maybe it doesn't. Oh, it's a wizard. I remember. It's It's the ETB wizard. Whatever. Someone will know about it. You enters the creature enters the battlefield. If it triggers it, you trigger it twice. Okay, next one we're gonna do is Giovanni Guiltleaf Archdruid. But before we do that, we gotta thank our sponsors today because we love her. I love my sponsors. Probably love them more than you guys, but you should love them more because they help you buy Magic cards. We're gonna start with FusionGamingOnline.com. Deal of the week, save 15% off all Magic promos. You can get those Survival of the Fittest is a build around card. Tutor out the creatures that you need for your combos. And, I don't see any other build-around cards. Armageddon! Peeve off your players. How to lose your friends in one shot. Play Armageddon. And if you need them promos, don't forget to use coupon code Nikachu at checkout for 5% off all your purchases. Delicious promo. And we're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. Do you know what people are building around right now? The One Ring from Magic the Gathering in every format that's possible. In Modern, in Legacy, in Commander, it's an instant staple. Man, that card's get banned. It's not going to get banned for months. And you can support the channel here. Get your One Rings from Mana Traders using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_1YA. Back to the wacky cards. Crazy build-around cards. Okay, who are we doing here? Shoot, I lost the card. I feel bad now. Hold on, where is this card I said I was gonna do? Oh, yeah, there we go. Giovanni, I found you. Gilt Leaf Archdruid. Green, 3 generic for a 3/3 Elf Druid. Whenever you play a Druid spell, you may draw a card. My god, that is insane! Is it play or it's cast? Yeah, it's cast. Anyway, that's wild, in my opinion. Okay, tap 7 untapped Druids you control. Gain control of all lands target player controls. I didn't know Druids had such a broken card. Oh, it's not, but it's not a commander. It's not legendary. So like you can have, it's a lot of mana, but holy crap, the payoff is insane. I mean, you might as well just put this in all your elf decks, because there are a lot of elves that like combo as druids. Oh my god, this is way stronger. You know, Merfolk has something similar to this. It's like tap 7 Merfolk counter target spell. That is far less superior than taking all your opponent's lands. Anyway, build your whole deck around druids, and you've got the payoff right here. The Gilt Leaf Archdruid. It's not even legendary. I guarantee you, if it was legendary, everyone would know about it, because this would be a premier commander. Or maybe it's better as green, because maybe it's better as not legendary, because now you can play like a multicolored elf or something. Elf Druid is a deck in Penny Dreadful. This card is insane. All right, we got 101 Arg. See the truth. See the truth. Blue 1 generic sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of those cards into your hand. The rest on the bottom of your library in any order. If this spell was cast from anywhere other than your hand, put each of those cards in your hand instead. That's right. If you try to flash this thing back, play it from your graveyard. Can you play from exile? Cast was from anywhere other than your hand. So like, yeah. So if it was put into exile and you cast it, or from your graveyard, you get all the cards. Basically, pay 2 mana, draw 3, which of course is just cash money right there. Okay, more super chats. We've got, did we do this one? Blim Comedic Genius. Blim! Oh, there's a lot of Blims. Red Black 2 generic for a 4/3 imp with flying. Whenever Blim Comedic Genius deals combat damage to a player, that player gains control of target permanent you control. Then each player loses life and discards cards equal to the number of permanents they control but don't own. Awkward! Very, very awkward. What else is the catch? Hold on, we deal that player gains control of target permanent you control. Couldn't it be Blim? Like, what's wrong with taking Blim? That player gains control of target permanent. That is so weird. So how do you make this work? Because then they're going to control the Blim from there on out. Then each player loses life and discards cards equal to the number of perms they control but don't own. Because I don't know how far you get, so I mean that's the real like build around problem as far as I'm concerned. They steal your Blim, and then that stops the bleeding of the damage. I think. Yeah, you gotta donate bad things after that, or before that. You donate as much as possible while you could. Corey with conspiracy. What is your avatar? Some old... Oh, I guess it's like what's it called? Very old video game controller. Alright, black 3 generic enchantment. As conspiracy comes to play, choose a creature type. Creatures you own that aren't in play, creature spells you control, and creatures you control are the chosen type. So you have to try to make some payoff with that. You remind, there's like a blue card that sort of does the same thing. Creature cards you own that aren't in play. So it like gives you I don't even know how black uses this. It seems like something good for green and blue. But yeah, basically everything is going to be of a certain creature type, so that's it. Yeah, if your deck wasn't a typal, it is typal now. Zanzi with engineered plague. In some sense, this doesn't feel. As it comes into play, choose a creature type. All creatures of the chosen type get -1/-1. I don't think this is. I don't know how you easily build around this card by not playing the creature type that you name. Yeah, I was thinking of Arcane Adaptation. Is like the blue conspiracy. Blue 2 generic. Enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures you control are the chosen type in addition to their other types. The same is true for creature cards you control, and creature cards you own that aren't onto the battlefield. Oh, it works with Conspiracy. Why would you're gonna nuke your own creatures? Creature cards you own that aren't in play. It's only your stuff. So what? I'm gonna give all my creatures -1/-1? Okay. I don't know how that helps you, but sure. Okay, next up we got Dr. Django. Okay, does Maria Doc Brandy Buck count? Oh, it's a new card. No wonder I couldn't pronounce it. Alright, we got a green 1 generic 2/2 halfling wizard. Whenever one or more halflings you control attack a player, create a food token. Yes, it sort of works. I guess you're making halfling. You know what? I mean, what would work better is you have some card that has a payoff for food. Like, what's it called? Or you make one token, you make a bunch of tokens. There's that artifact that you make one, you make a ton. I don't remember what it's called, though. I know what cards do. I don't know their names. As a competitive player, we don't need to know the names of cards. Until we have to play something like Lobotomy or something. I don't know. Nato! Revel in Riches. I really appreciate all the new people here. I gotta see, I have to say, I see a lot of new faces. We got Black 4 generic enchantment. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, create a colorless treasure artifact token with tap, sack this artifact, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Because that's what treasures do anyway. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 10 or more treasures, you win the game. That doesn't sound hard to pull off. I mean, yeah, this is definitely, they're daring you to make a treasure deck. Is this a popular? It's a pretty popular card. It's yeah, it looks like it's up there. It's worth some money. It could be 10 bucks. Like, how hard is it to get to 10 treasures these days? You have this plus the, what's that, the green card, tap lands, get treasures. Get Dizzy, get Blizzy. All right, what do you got for me, Dizzy Blizzy? Fang mentioned a good one, Helix Pinnacle. Look, Fang, this super chat's on Dizzy. Helix Pinnacle. I also like that, you know, that's it's a good thing of the community. You guys are super chatting for other people. All right, we got a green enchantment, Shroud. Put X tower counters on Helix Pinnacle, and at the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 100 or more tower counters on Helix Pinnacle, you win the game. The only problem with this card is, you know, infinite mana is not the hardest thing to achieve. There's so many different infinite mana combos in this game, it's just disgusting. Low key with Zidrun. Blue 3 generic for this weird mossy looking guy. A Star illusion. As Zigdron enters the battlefield, turn all other non-token creatures face down. They're 2/2 creatures. And Zidron's power and toughness are each equal to the number of face down creatures on the battlefield. Do you need to build around this card though? Enters the battlefield, turn all other non-token creatures face down, but you can always turn them all face up for their mana cost. I don't really count this card. I don't know how you build around this card. I guess you can have more face down creatures you naturally play, but I mean, it basically builds around itself. No build around required. It does its thing on its own. Okay, we got Stormwing. Thank you very much for your super chat. Arena player here just made a Triskaphobia exists outside. Triskide, sorry, just got a file deck. Oh, just got a file, not Triskaphobia. And it's been fun, that and Transcendent Message. Okay, we got a blue 1 generic for a 1/3 human wizard. No maximum hand size. The old Reliquary Tower skit. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you have exactly 13 cards in your hand, you win the game. What? Pay a blue 3 generic, draw a card. How hard can that be? So it's such a cheap creature too. You could, in theory, just play this thing in the late game and then draw a bunch of cards immediately, and then boom, you have 13 cards and you win. And yeah, that one works. Alright, what else do we have here? Esley, I haven't heard one from you today. Psychic Trance. We have blue, 2 generic instant. Until end of turn, wizards you control gain tap counter target spell. Oh god, it's an... This card looks so weird. It feels like it's an enchantment because it's got the tap symbol on it. Or it feels like a permanent. It looks like a permanent. Are wizards? Oh yeah, there's a bunch of cephalid wizards out there. The Psychic Trance. But the deal is only the wizards have tap counter target spell. That's so weird. It's as if you need to counter Do you need to counter multiple spells in one turn? It's so niche. But yeah, you build your deck around a bunch of wizards and you'll counter them spells. Tap one wizard, it's countered, it's gone. What else do we've got here? Coffee and Buns, Strixhaven Coliseum. Did we look at that one? Strixhaven C. I think we did. I'm not sure, but I think we did. It was like Coliseum. No, this specific card does not exist. But I think I know what you're talking about. I think we did. It was the one with the if you have enough points, you win the game. Okay, super chats. Back to the station. Station, thank you so much for your contribution. V2 Gazi. Can't there and back again. Is it Vito Gaze? Vito V2. Is it Vito or V2? There's a lot of V2. V2 Gazi Guild Mage. Oh, here we go. Hard to find. Okay. Okay, we got a white, green, 2/2 Dryad Shaman. We can pay 6 mana, create a 3/3 green Centaur token, and we can populate. Oh, this is actually a great build-around card. Create a token that's a copy of a creature token you control. Is there like a populate, but for all the tokens? Because copying one token, a little meh. But copying like all the tokens, doubling them. Oh, I guess that's, you know, that's what's called, that's why those enchantments are expensive. The one with the wolves on it, you know what I'm talking about? If a token enters the battlefield, make double. Yeah, build your deck around tokens, and V2. This looks like a legendary card. It sounds like a legendary card. The V2 Gazi, Guild Mage. I guess it's like a clan or something. Copyright with Endless Whispers. A black 2 generic enchantment. Each creature has, when this creature is put into a graveyard from play, choose target opponent. That player puts this creature card from that graveyard into play under his or her control at end of turn. So each creature has, when this creature is put into a graveyard from play, I choose Bobby. Bobby puts this creature card from that graveyard into play. That player puts this creature card from that I guess my own graveyard, and we give it to Bobby? That's so weird. I have no idea how you make this card even good. And it's, oh, I see. No, hold on. So basically, if your creature dies, you give it to somebody else. However it works. Hold on, I got the mail or something. Hold on, I'll be right back. Give me a second. Okay, I'm back. I'm gonna see the YouTube analytics. Better not have left. I wasn't gone for very long. Okay, we got coffee and buns. Thank you so much for the super chat. Well, we did that one. Maze's End. Oops. However, you know, it's a good ramp card, if nothing else. Because you slowly put land. It reminds me of Thawing Glaciers. It's basically a modern day Thawing Glaciers that can actually win you the game. That's the difference between all of these. It's Crucible Worlds. You know, honestly, it's not really that hard. I'm gonna say no to that one. Okay, do we have anything else? We have Coulter. Coulter with the super chat. What is it? Boosting Abzo. with Teferi's puzzle box. Boosting. Oh no, I guess Abzo is the actual card. Abzo, Azor. What is this? Who's Abzo? Oh, boosting. Sorry, Abzo. I guess you're you're boosting Abzo, the user. Teferi's puzzle box. That is most certainly a build-around card. Gotta give me the @ in front of the name, otherwise I don't know who I think you're talking about a card. Yeah, me. Talking about Abzo here. A Coffee and MTG connoisseur. Alright, 4 mana artifact. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player puts the cards in his or her hand on the bottom of his or her library in any order, then draws that many cards. And this, I think, what was it? I think Narset plus this card screws people over. It puts cards in any order, then draws that many cards. So you drew your hand and you like lose it, and then you draw nothing because you can't draw more than 1 card a turn. Great Fask is early and no card suggestion. Darn it. Okay, Madeus. I still can't pronounce the name. Shared Fate. Oh god, I heard there's a card like this in Legacy. We have a blue 4 generic enchantment. If a player would draw a card, that player removes the top card of an opponent's library from the game face down instead. Each player may look at and play cards he or she removed from the game with Shared Fate as though they were in his or her hand. Make sure everyone has different sleeves, because that will be an absolute mess at the end of the game. Next up, we got Dylan. Thank you so much, Dylan. Did you do Edgin? Nope, we did not do Edgin. Who is Edgin? Larsunius Edgin. Larsinus Lieutenants. Whatever. Red, blue, 1 generic, 3/3 human bard. Each non-land card in your hand without Foretell has Foretell. Its Foretell cost is each equal to the mana cost reduced by 2. Sweet. Yeah, so basically... Oh, hold on, but everything has Foretell now. Do you really build around this card? Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, go to target creature an opponent controls. Each non-land card in your hand without Foretell has Foretell. So this doesn't really honestly build around anything, because it just gives everything Foretell. Now, if it said, like, all your Foretell cards cost 2 less to cast, then you have to build your deck around Foretell cards. But it just works by itself. You literally can put this in any Izzet deck, and it will do its thing. Loki. Nefarious Lich. Nefarious... This is the Lich card. No, it's not the Lich. No, it is the Lich. No, it is not the Lich card. It's another Lich card. Okay, we got black enchantment. If you would be dealt damage, remove that many cards in your graveyard from the game instead. If you can't, you lose the game. If you would gain life, draw that many cards. No, this... Isn't there like another card that's so similar, like actual Lich? When Nefarious Lich leaves play, you lose the game. It's so close. What is the difference between this and just Lich? It's like very similar, right? You don't lose the game for having 0 less life. If you gain life, draw that many cards instead. Whenever you're dealt damage, sacrifice that many non-token permanents. Or I guess it just does completely different things. I'm being an idiot. So if you be dealt damage, remove cards in your graveyard from the game instead. If you can't, okay. So if you lose cards in your graveyard, you be dead! It's over. But if you gain life, you draw that many cards instead. That's wild. So your life gain becomes like cash money and stuff. And then if it leaves play, you lose. Just make sure that no one blows it up. So that end your reign of terror really quickly. All right, what do we do? Dizzy Blizzy, have we done Hive Mind? No, we have not. And it does count. The easiest way to break Hive Mind, however. So it's an enchantment, 6 mana, cast an instant or sorcery spell. Everyone gets a copy. Each of those players may choose new targets for the copy. You just play something like the Pact, Summoner's Pact, or play something plus Pact of Negation, your own card. They'll get a Pact of Negation, it will resolve, and they have to pay the upkeep for the Pact. If they can't pay the upkeep, they lose. Okay, what else do we've got here? Looking for neat, unique new cards. What is this? Pestilent Spirits by Turia. Pestilent Spirit. Okay, we got a black 3 generic, sorry, black 2 generic for a 3/2 spirit, menace, death touch. Instant sorcery spells you control have death touch. Weird. So I guess you could build the deck around a bunch of pinging stuff that pings just for one. What was it? Not is it static caster? It has to be an instant or sorcery. But there's one that's like overload, deal 1 damage to everything, and basically just shoot everything, all your opponent's stuff down, and it's gone. Those two things, that's like a combo. Those two things work by themselves. Okay, here we go. We got gray. How about that foretell? What are you talking about? Ranar, the ever watchful. Name is pronounced Gray. Gray Fox. Got it. In a really fancy way. All right, we got a blue, white, 2 generic, 2/3 spirit warrior, vigilance and flying. The first card you foretell each turn costs 0. Now that's a build around card. Whenever you exile 1 or more cards from your hand and or permanents from the battlefield, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token of flying. So that's a payoff for building around foretell. That is what I'm talking about. Ether Vortex. How many of you people yelling for Ether Vortex? It's not even a real card. Okay, it's a red, 3 generic. I'm just out of curiosity for Commander players. Do you guys just play with like uncards as if they're just regular cards? Is there any rule 0 against this at this point? If someone midway through the game plays yet another Ether Vortex, would anyone like oppose it? I like how it looks like Noah's Ark's animals are getting sucked up through this thing. All right, enchantment. All creatures have haste. Players play with the top card of their library is revealed. Non-instant, non-sorcery cards on top of a library are on the battlefield under their owner's control in addition to being in the library. What? Non-instant, non-sorcery cards. Oh, I see. Non-instant, non-sorcery, basically. Permanents. Any permanent card. I get, but maybe they were trying to specify it could be any permanent in the future. Permanents that don't exist yet. It puts the vortex in flavor text. Oh my god, there is vortex in flavor text. If unset counts, Baron Von Count. Honestly, they don't count, so I'm giving the buzzer. They'll still do it for content. We got a red, black, 1 generic for a 3/3 human villain. I like how the creature type is villain. Baron Von Count enters the battlefield with a Doom counter on 5. Whenever you cast a spell with the indicated numeral in its mana cost, text box, power, or toughness, move the Doom counter 1 numeral to the left. When the Doom counter moves from 1, destroy target player and put the Doom counter on 5. I don't even want to wrap my head around how this is even a build around card, so. Moving on. Can't even fly. Lutri. Lutri was a huge project to build as a companion. Lutri was a huge project to build as a companion. I don't understand. Are you just trolling me here? Because of course this is like really... Oh, you know, I mean, outside of Commander, this is actually a bit difficult. Some people in Modern have tried to build their decks around Lutri, somewhat successfully. It's just, you know, it's missing a little bit because the companion restriction is each non-land card in your deck has to have a different name. It's got flash. It's a 3/2. Enters the battlefield. If you cast it, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control, and you may choose new targets for the copy. But it is a good card. Wesley Gee. Okay, we got Helm of Caldera, the Realtron. I guess all the all the companions, now that I think of it, are pretty much build around cards. Although this one was very easy for Commander. Too easy that they snap banned it. It existed for less than 0 seconds. This card has the world record speedrun for getting banned quickly. It was banned in negative time. 3 mana, legendary artifact. Equipped creature has first strike, trample, and haste. Pay 1 if you control equipment named Helm of Cauldra, Sword of Cauldra, and Shield of Cauldra. You put them all together, put a 4/4 colorless avatar legend creature token named Cauldra into play and attach those equipment to it. True story. True story. We got H. Drava. Or sorry, yeah, H. Drav, Nova Chaser. We got a red 3 generic Elemental Warrior. It's a 10-2. With Trample, Champion, and Elemental. So basically you have to be an Elemental deck of some sort. The card... It's hard for me to evaluate. I mean, it's 10-2 is a 10-2. And it's got Trample. However, anything blocking is going to die. Hey, I get around to everyone. I go between the super chats and I look for people who haven't got a card yet. Like people like Steve Cooper. I don't think Steve won't got today. We got Cormella, Glamour Thief. Everyone got to have a try, you know? We got a red, black, blue, 1 generic for a 2/4 Vampire Rogue with haste. Pay 1, tap, add Grixis mana. Spend this mana only to cast instant or sorcery spells. And when Cormella Glamour Thief dies, return up to 1 target instant or sorcery spell card from your graveyard to your hand. So basically, a Spells Matter deck. I assume this is going to be used to play things like, what's it called? Cruel Ultimatum. I'm sure that's the singular card in everyone's mind when they're building the Cormella Glamour Thief deck. All right, more super chats. You all know it. Station. Smog token. What? There and back again breaks VGG. Smog. I don't get it. There and back again. Oh, the actual card. Okay. So, red, 3 generic. It's a saga, whatever. Chapter 1. Up to 1 target creature can't block for as long as you control there and back again. The ring tempts you. Chapter 2. Search your library for a mountain card. Put it onto the battlefield and shuffle. We're creating Smog. Chapter 3. Create Smog. A legendary 6/6 red dragon creature token with flying haste. And when this creature dies, create 14 treasure tokens. It's like breaking open the golden goose. So hold on. What do you want? You want to kill Smog? Breaks V... What does breaks VGG mean? Is there any second side to this? I guess you want to crack your Smog open and get all the eggs yourself. Mari! Oh, we have Gada, Font of Hope. Oh yeah, I forgot about this angel. It's a Y1 generic 2/2 flying vigilance. Each other angel you control enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each angel you already control. So those angels get insanely big really quickly. You know, you don't even need proliferate. And tap, add a white, spend this mana only to cast an angel spell. Hold on, do we have any more super chats? We do. We've got Wesley. Wesley's got one more super chat. Mechton Core. Mech Titan Core. Is this a good example? 2 mana for a 2/4 vehicle, pay 5, exile Mech Titan Core and 4 other artifact creatures. Oh yeah, you need more artifacts. Enter vehicles you control to create the Mech Titan, a legendary 10/10 construct artifact creature token with flying, vigilance, trample, lifelink, and haste. It does all. It slices and dices. When that token leaves the battlefield, return all cards exiled with Mech Titan Core, except Mech Titan Core, to the battlefield, tapped under their owner's control. So it comes out temporarily for 1 shot and then it goes back. Assemble, unassemble, reassemble. We're gonna get one more. Let's get something from a black bird. We'll end it off on this one. Eve, Progenitor Ooze. Oops. An Oozy Scoozy. Okay, green, 2 generic for a 2/2 ooze with Storm? Creatures can have Storm? When you cast a spell, copy it for each spell cast before it this turn. Okay. Eve, Progenitor Ooze isn't legendary if it's a token. Eve enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on for each other ooze you control. What a bizarre card. Basically, build a Storm deck, but instead of winning with the Storm cards like Grape Shot, you're just hitting with the Progenitor Ooze. Okay, we're gonna actually finish it off with Aetherflux Reservoir. Yes, everyone saw this card. It's like, I have to win with this thing. Cast a spell, you gain a life for each spell you've cast this turn. Pay 50 life. Deal 50 damage to target creature or player. They'll kill anyone in any format. Okay, that's it. That's it for today. Thank you very much for showing up this morning. If you want to be part of the show, you got to be here Monday to Friday, 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you very much for everyone who is a member of YouTube, a patron on Patreon. If you want to support the channel, links to that in the description below. And very much thanks to all the super chatters for contributing to the show. We got to thank everyone who shows up in the morning. People like Mark Zilla, King Ginger, Jess. We got Toad, Steve Cooper. We got Gray Fox. Welcome. A Blackbird. Abzo. Loki. We got Loki. Dizzy Blizzy, Madius. We got Mr. Deadhead, James Stone. I think I said Mark Sill already. Who else did we have here? Zanzi, 101. Because without all of you, I would have no show. You guys, the coffee crew, you are the show. So as usual, my coffee crew, keep brewing up them coffees. We'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cup.